am Shayna Stone with Ladies in Film and Television, and I'll be interviewing the cast and crew of Bright Lights. Bright Lights is a mini series that sheds light on a very serious issue: human trafficking. Let's bring our cast members to the show. Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. We
Yes.
AJ Williams and we have Kalissa Niet. Thank you so much for joining me today. Kalissa, if I may start with you, if you could just tell us again your name, the character you play, and where you're from.
My name is Kalissa NGA. The character that I play is Courtney, and I'm from Colorado, Denver, Colorado.
That's pretty cool. Hi, AJ. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Can you tell us again your name and the character you play, and where are you from?
Okay, so I'm AJ. The character I play as is Zaire, and I'm in real life. I'm from Texas.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that information. And Kalissa, I'm going to start with you today. Um, can you tell us a little bit about the character that you play? Can you give me a bit of a backstory on that character? Who is
Uh,
she?
Courtney is a very nice girl. She has one sister.
Hmm.
She likes to go out for stuff, but she doesn't really like to do a lot of big stuff. And Courtney overall is just like a very calm person.
Oh, okay. Well, you are playing a role that's involved in something very, very serious, human trafficking, which is really scary. When you realize that this series was about human trafficking and, the character that you were playing, how did that make you feel, Kalissa?
Well, overall, it made me feel a lot more serious about the role that I was playing. Like at first, I was like, "Yay, a fun role," and now it's like more serious about it.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. So, is there anything you learned about human trafficking and child trafficking that you didn't know before you took the role?
Yes, I learned a lot. I learned that there was different kinds of it, that people usually do it because they're not very happy about themselves, and that they really try to go for like kids age under 18 and plus, and that they like do labor and all the other like stuff, like really bad stuff too, like kids or anybody, and that it can be like literally anybody. It could be someone walking down the street with their dog or something.
That's really scary. And AJ, can you tell us a little bit about your character, his name, and a little bit about your character, Zaire?
Okay, his name is Zaire. Yeah, he is 9 years old, a brother to Pierre,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he's okay. He doesn't really talk English that good, but then he's working on it.
Mm-hmm. Where is he from?
He's from Haiti.
Wow, yeah. So he doesn't really talk English that good, and he is Haitian. When you took this role and you learned that it was about human trafficking and child trafficking, which I'm sure is very scary to have learned, how did it make you feel?
I was thinking, how did this is trafficking? And at first I was like, what's trafficking? And then as soon as people mentioned it, then I started to know what it meant.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I surely hope that both of you are very, very proud of yourselves because you are bringing attention to such a serious matter, and it's a serious crime, against humanity and specifically against children. Now that you've learned these things about human trafficking, do you have advice? Did you learn, of course, most children know not to talk to strangers, but with you playing this role, do you have any advice to other children, your friends and your cousins, that now you can help them become more aware of this issue? Like, do you have any tips you want to share, like with other people, on how they can stay safe?
I would say like be aware of your surroundings,
Mhm.
and I guess don't really like stay close to people, but like just be aware of your surroundings and don't um I don't know, like just don't like go where people aren't, and like try to stay like people aren't like that, like stay in like good places that are familiar,
Mhm.
and um really that just like
Yeah.
stay around your surroundings, and yeah.
Do you think that they should talk more about this at school? Is this, have you, because I heard both of you mention, that you didn't know too much about it. Is this something that should be brought up in school so that teachers could also inform children on how to stay safe, not only in person, but what about online? Because a lot of predators are online.
Yeah, I do think like my teacher doesn't like talk about it.
Mhm.
Like I think they should talk about it because I feel that if they don't really know about it, then they'll like just go and just be there. But I do think your parents should also talk about it too.
That's true. So parents need to talk about it and teachers need to talk about it. I think that that is a very, very good perspective. I agree with you. AJ, what do you think? Do you think that this is something that you should learn at school and that your teachers should also talk about this? This is a very huge issue, not only in the United States, but worldwide, and even where your character is from. Hey, okay, I'm trying to see if we have.
Yes, I think my teacher should tell.
I'm just looking in the chat to see if they have any questions for you all, as this is live, and I am just looking through the chat here and to see if we have any questions. And if we don't, then we will just talk about some other projects that you have coming up. So, Kalissa, this is the second, from what I can remember, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the second mini series that you've been a part of. You were previously a part of Sea Blues, and that was another mini series that shed light on very serious issues like COVID. And now here we are talking about child trafficking. What do you have coming up next? Do you have any other projects on the back burner that you could talk about?
So I don't have any product projects at the moment, but I do hope to have even more projects
Sounds
to do.
good to me. AJ, what did you do to prepare for your role? How did you get into character to play Zaire?
I got into character when I kept on practicing.
That's good. Practice makes perfect. Absolutely. And what about you, Kalissa?
I really had to I tried to be more of that character, like think of what Courtney would do, like think of like her character, think of her personality, like just take time to think. and then just act it out. But you have to really know your character to act it out.
That is very, very true. You do have to get to know your character. And AJ, can you tell us a little bit more about you? What other projects have you been in, and what do you have coming up? I think AJ's on mute. Or did he freeze? Okay, yeah. Give me just a moment. I want to see if we can get AJ back. He may be frozen. And that's okay. Well, I just want to say to you both. Oh, wait, I think he's okay. Well, I do. I want to say, to both of you, you both should, be very proud of yourselves for playing such a scary role and, bringing this to our attention. We're really looking forward to seeing the miniseries in its entirety. And hopefully that this will continue to bring awareness to this global issue. So I just want to thank you both for this interview today and for telling me. We have AJ. Can you hear me? Okay. For taking the time out to interview with me today and to shed light on this very serious issue. I'm really, really happy that you took the role, both of you, that you took this role. And I hope that this mini series could be played in schools and in churches and everywhere, so that we can continue to spread awareness to human trafficking, specifically child trafficking. So thank you so much again, Kalissa, for hanging out with me today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we just had Kalissa, Niet, and AJ Williams here. These are two of our the cast members of Bright Lights. So once again, Bright Lights is a mini series that sheds light on a very, very serious issue: human trafficking. Children make up 27% of human trafficking victims worldwide. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen a worsening overall trend in human trafficking. And so I'm very interested. Later on in the broadcast, we're going to be speaking to the director of Bright Lights, Jeanette Greenwood, and really want to ask her some questions. But that's later on in the interview to see why she chose to bring this to our attention. So I'm really interested in learning more. So we do have other cast members in the building. Going to bring on Trinity. I believe she's here. She's also one of the cast members of Bright Lights, and we're going to be interviewing her. And Sophie. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Trinity. How are you this evening?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Good, very good. Trinity, can you go ahead and just introduce yourself? Tell us your name, the role you play, and where you're from.
Yeah, I'm Trinity Latson. I'm from Seattle, United States, and I play the role of Lori.
Thank you. And Sophie, the same for you, please.
Hi, I'm Sophie Barron, and I'm from Bedford, Texas, and I play Delia.
Thank you so much for that information. So you're playing in a mini-series that involves some really heavy subject matter. So can you tell us a little bit about your character? I can start with you, Sophie. Just kind of give us the backstory of the character that you play.
Yeah. So far what I know about her, she's very shy, doesn't have many friends, and just is kind of left out. Maybe in the past something happened, or I don't know, but she doesn't have any friends and she's very shy.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned she doesn't have any friends and she's very shy. Do you think that those two components make, I don't even call her an easy target, but someone that will be preyed upon? Do you think that those two things, led to whatever happened, in the series?
Definitely. I think people who are left alone are easier to, like, I don't know what's the word, but just to,
Like they're preyed upon or
yeah,
become a target?
yeah, because they don't have anyone to like contact or
Yeah.
anyone to help them.
Yeah. And Trinity, yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about your character and her background as well?
Of course. So my character is Lori. She is around my age, so 12, 11, 10. She, at the moment, lives in a foster home, and in her past, she is a little bit of a troublemaker, I saw from the script.
Mm-hmm. So two contrasting characteristics. You have one who's more of an introvert or a recluse and doesn't have many friends. Then you have, maybe, I'm not going to call her, but the way you're describing, maybe a misfit. But two opposite ends of the spectrum, but ended up in the same situation. What do you think contributed to that? So I'm going to ask you the same question, because she's a bit of a misfit and maybe, a trickster, or maybe she got in trouble and people didn't believe her. Do you think that her personality also made her a target?
Well, I think maybe because of, I'm not going to share the actual thought, but because of the thought she had in the script,
Okay.
she didn't really know about trafficking, and so I think maybe she is more of a target because it didn't seem like she was very much aware of what was going on in her town.
Yeah. So let's go back, right? You talked about the script, and human trafficking is really serious and it's really scary. When you realize that the series was about human trafficking, specifically child trafficking, how did that make you feel?
So at first I had never heard of it, and I didn't even know what it was. And so when I did hear about it, I was very sad that it could really just be anyone. Now I'm really glad that I know, because I'm more aware. I had no idea that what was happening, and I didn't even know what the script was about until we had discussed after I did all my lines, and I'm really glad that I know about it now.
Thank you for that. And Sophie, how did you feel?
Like her, I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that it was a bad thing, but now it really impacts the story, and I think that'll help me act better and do my job better about what's going on.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was asking your other castmates earlier about this being brought up in school. This is not just a national issue. It's global. From country to country, coast to coast. Is this something that should be brought up in schools? Like, now that I'm hearing about this web series, this mini series, I'm thinking, once it's complete, take it to the schools. Everyone needs to know what they can do to be safe and what to look out for. Do you think that this is something that should be brought into the school system?
Definitely. It's like you said, it happens globally, so it could happen anywhere, anytime. So I think everyone should be aware of it.
Absolutely. Trinity, what about you? Is this something, not only, should our parents or your parents talk or discuss this with you? Do you think that this is something that should also be brought up in school?
Most definitely. The fact that I didn't even know what it was is very concerning, considering it could happen anywhere, even where we live now. I think it should be discussed in schools, at home, with friends. It should definitely be more known.
Yeah, I agree as well. And, it's such a serious topic. So when I was talking to, the cast the castmates earlier, that human or child trafficking doesn't just, involve, most people may think of it, like sexual child trafficking, but child labor is involved. People, forcing children into working, into labor. Is there anything, I know that you didn't know much about it prior to the role, but is there anything that you learned about it that you could, share with our audience today? Like if there's one little thing that you could share, either one of you, Sophie or Trinity, that you learned specifically, that was startling or news to you.
The fact that it could be anyone that I know was really shocking, and when I learned what they actually do to the kids, that really shocked me, that people are like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it shocks me that a lot of people really don't know about it and no one's doing too much about it. I mean, I didn't even know what it was until I was working on this show. So I definitely think one of the biggest problems is that no one is knowing it and no one is really doing much about it.
Yeah, I agree. And Sophie, what did you have to do to get in character? Once again, it's such a serious subject matter. And once you did your research and you found out what this issue was, what steps did you have to take to really, get into your character?
I think honestly, I just took it more serious. Like at first, I didn't know that it was like based on such a serious subject, so I was taking it more easy. But now that I knew it, I just really focused on how I was acting and what my face looked like and how I said things.
Yeah. And what about you, Trinity?
Well, I also didn't know about it when I was actually doing the script and acting and rehearsing my lines. And so I kind of just, to get in character, I was happy and positive about it because I didn't know that we had to be serious. And I took it seriously, but I didn't know that what the topic was. And so I didn't think of it as anything except a role,
Yeah, I understand. So it looks like we have a question out here in the audience, and this is to both of you. It says, what advice would Trinity and Sophie give to other young people and how to have a conversation with their parents and teachers about trafficking? So what advice would you give to other young people your age, how to even go about having the conversation?
Do you want to go first, Trinity?
Sure. If I wanted to discuss it with my family or my friends, I'd bring it up by asking if they've had any experience with it or if they know what it was, because that's what I was asked when Miss Jeanette was telling us about it. So I'd ask them if they've had any past with it, so I know how much they really know about it. And then with my family, I'd say, this is a big topic and I think we need to discuss it as I'm getting older and as I'm developing and getting more out there, hanging out with friends, going to the mall, anywhere. I need to know more about it. And that's how I'd bring it out to my family and my friends.
Thank you for that. Yes.
I would definitely just at first, just anyone needs to be comfortable telling someone about that. If I know sometimes it may be hard if people have gone through that. They don't want to tell anyone because they feel uncomfortable or embarrassed. But I definitely think they need to have someone to talk to them about it, someone they feel comfortable with, because it needs to be brought up and anyone needs to help.
That is very true. So I have a question. So we talked about, being safe in open spaces and public spaces physically. With the world of social media changing day by day, now we have a thing called a metaverse. How do you think that plays in this whole trafficking, ordeal? Do you think that, social media is used and abused to lure or to help traffic? Like, what do you think about that? And what safety precautions do you take online?
I think that social media, if you're using it the wrong way, you can definitely put out a lot of information, especially when you're making videos or posts or anything. I think that social media, you really have to be careful. You have to make sure you know really the people that are on there, because it's not just your friends, it's not just your family on social media. It's people trying to traffic kids and even adults. And so I think definitely social media is a way to lure in trafficking 100%.
Yeah. And I want to talk about, and yeah, Sophie, if you have anything to add to that, go right ahead.
I definitely think social media can be a help, but can also not be, just depending how people use it.
Yeah.
Definitely don't follow anyone you don't know, only follow your friends and family. And if strangers are trying to contact you, just block them. You just got to use it the right way and make sure you're not doing anything wrong.
Absolutely. We have another question here from Jeanette. What fears do you have as young girls, knowing that it's people that look for children for this purpose?
Would you like to go first, Sophie?
Yeah. I don't really understand the question.
I guess, she was like, what fears do you have as young girls, knowing that? Does it scare you? Like, what fears do you have? What concerns do you have? Just like when we were talking about social media earlier, you think you're doing something so innocent by posting a selfie, but sometimes your geo information is tracked on that picture. And a lot of people are just so excited to take that selfie to show their new outfit, their makeup, or their new shoes, but they're not realizing that they didn't turn off location or the geo information. Like, what do you make sure that what you post does not have any of that information on, so that you can't be tracked? So she was just asking, like, is there anything that scares you? No, what scares you? What are your fears? Or if you have any, that this is happening, and it's happening to, young girls, all people. But, that kind of trying to sum it up. Like, are you aware? Do you pay attention to who's following you? Is your, making sure your social media is private, making sure your location isn't on, all of those things are things that sometimes we tend to overlook because we're excited and we don't want to do that, right?
Yeah. I definitely am aware of what I post and who I follow and what people follow me. So I haven't really had any fears. Sometimes I'll get scams or stuff, and I have clicked on one of those one time, and it did scare me. But yeah, just be careful on what you do on it, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. And one other thing too, with both of you, so both of you are actresses, and sometimes people use, oh, do you want to be an actor? Do you want to be a model? You should model, fill this out. And it's a scam, and they asking for your phone number, your address, and location. With you being in the, entertainment industry, are you, when you get emails or people come up to you, if they haven't, in the past, what would you do?
If someone came up to me and asked for my personal information, acting as an agency or anything, most of the time, if I'm being honest, I'm with my family. Whenever I go out, I'm never like alone, or even just with people my age, because my mom is really strict about me, being alone, probably because of trafficking. But so if someone were to do that, I think I just let an adult handle it. And if it were real, then, I'd apply it to do anything. But if it were fake, then I wouldn't know, to be honest. So I just leave it to my mom to deal
Very
with it.
excellent answers. And I will go ahead and give you the opportunity to answer that as well.
Definitely, if anyone ever asked for my personal information, I'd just straight up, if it was on social media, block them. If it was in real life, just walk the other way. Don't even acknowledge that they asked that, because no one should ask that unless it's like your super close friends or family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me today. It has been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to seeing Bright Lights mini-series in its entirety. Thank you so much for your time. All right. Well, we have Jaden and Jeanette, the host of Destiny Squad, is also with us today, and they're going to be telling us about the roles and the characters that they play in Bright Lights. So let's welcome Jaden and Jeanette to the show. Good evening.
Hello.
How are
Hello.
you?
Good.
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 Jaden, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good. So we're here today and we're talking about Bright Lights, the miniseries, right? Serious
Yep.
topic, serious global issue. So I just want you to go ahead, Jaden, and tell us about your role. And yeah, let's get right into it. And a little bit about the character's backstory.
Okay. So I played Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was my character that I played. And the role, it was like kind of hard because I did like learn a Haitian accent, and I've never spoken in that way, so that was kind of hard to learn. But once I learned it, I got it down.
Yeah.
And like the character of Pierre, like he lost his parents, so he's a foster child basically, adopted. He lost both of his parents, and yeah, he wants to be an actor. So yeah.
Yeah. And Jeanette, can you tell us a little bit about your character as well?
Well, my character was Crystal, which I'm the bigger sister of Courtney. And the backstory on her, she's a very like artistic person, and she really loves acting, and she's happy that she got into it. And she's, I guess, trying to help her little sister out because her little sister hates acting in this series. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jaden, you play the brother of Zaire, right? So the
Yes,
big
ma'am.
brother. Okay. So all right. And then these characters are of Haitian descent. So you learned a Haitian accent from, for this role. And as I was mentioning before to the rest of your castmates, it's a very serious topic. Jaden, how much did you know about child trafficking before taking the role?
A decent amount, I guess, because like I watch like TV shows and stuff, and they usually show the seriousness of that, but not a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but just like a decent amount.
Yeah. And what did you have to do? Like once you learned about it, what did you have to do to prepare for something so serious?
Well, yeah, once I learned that it was actually really serious, I like I mean I put more time into it, I guess, and then like into learning what it was supposed to be and how a child would act if they're trafficked or if they just yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Janae?
Well, I didn't actually know much at first about it. So when we did explain it in our Zoom meeting after we did our roles, when I heard about it, I was like, okay, well, I have to take this role way more seriously now because it can help a lot of people out in the future or now in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. So we were talking to, the castmates as well about this being brought up, in school, in church, and at home. And what advice? And what do you think about being brought up at school? What do you think about it being brought up at church? Could you see this mini series being played in schools and being played at youth functions in the church? Would that help?
I think it would help a lot if it was
Yeah.
shown in way more public places, because I feel like child trafficking is like put to the side of a lot of things. So if it's being brought up in like churches and schools, and mainly schools since there's a lot of children there, I think it will help a lot of people more, and the information
Yeah.
can go around.
I agree.
Yeah.
Jada,
It'll help
you-
children like really. Yeah, it would help children really like understand the serious of it, and how they should like present themselves on social media and stuff, and not trust everyone they meet. I guess I
yeah,
could say.
yeah, absolutely, Jaden. We just had that conversation about it's not only like, out in public, going to the park and going to the malls and not talking to strangers. We have this whole metaverse. I don't want to say to worry about, but a whole metaverse that's out here, that where you have hundreds of thousands of people that are accessible to our young people, to our children. And I think that it is important for you all to be safe. We talked about geolocation, and sometimes we're just so happy to show our outfit or take a picture and not realizing that your your location is attached to that image. So can you just talk about that really quickly? What safety precautions do you take, Jeanette, as it relates to social media? Is your social media private? Do you know everyone on your friends list? Are these the questions that we as parents should be asking our children?
I think it is questions that you should ask your children to make sure they know everyone who they follow, or they know everyone who they like talk to. On my social media, I know at least almost everybody that I follow. And when I do see other people follow me, I don't even, if I know it's not whoever I think it is, then I won't even pay attention to it. I won't even like follow them or anything. But I know everybody I follow, and my grandma knows everyone who I follow, because mainly it's family members or friends from school. So I don't have a problem with anybody outside of that.
Jaden, what about you? Is your social media private? Do you know all of your followers? Do you know who you're following? Do you take those precautions to keep your accounts, safe and only accessible to those that you know?
Yes, ma'am. Like, so basically, I got basically two accounts. I can switch to private or public, but I have a private account. I know basically everyone that follows me and that I follow, and yeah, my account's pretty safe, I guess. I don't even post on there, so
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, this is just a very serious topic, and I want to make sure that I answer any questions that we may have. So let me take a look. I think I see one here. Let's scroll. Okay. Yes. What advice would you give to kids who think their parents are too strict or too protective? And that question is from Candace.
Well, I used to think my parents were kind of strict, because we would never go out like at all. Like if our friends had parties, we couldn't ever go. But now, coming to it, like the world is now, I'm actually grateful that they are a little bit more strict and overprotective, because we never know what could happen when we're not here. And I'm actually glad that they're protected. So the advice I would give them is, don't be like mad at your parents because they're protective, but be grateful because they are.
Jaden, what do you think?
I also have strict parents. I used to like, I guess, mad that they would be strict, because I always used to like see my friends or hear about friends party, things like that I couldn't go. But now older, they didn't let me go places, things I could have, I'm not around them, So I see that now. And to a kid that does have strict parents and think that they're way too strict or something like that, they're just trying to keep us safe. So yeah, that's how I'll just tell them. They're trying to keep you safe and stuff. You should just appreciate them.
Absolutely. And we do have another question here. In what ways have your roles helped expand your acting ability? So, from what I know, you've been acting, both of you, for some time. So, can you just tell us in what ways your roles have helped you expand your acting abilities? Jaden, can you hear me?
Yes. Well, for me,
Mm-hmm.
I play Pierre, so I get to learn a Haitian accent. So, well, like not really learning, but I got to learn how to say some words in Haitian. So yeah, I kind of learned like a new language, I would say.
Okay. And what about you, Janae? And
Um,
what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh yeah, I have to say it just helped me just be more serious. Well, I got to learn about more information about child trafficking too, so that
Mm-hmm.
was good. Because if I get cast for a role like that, I can already have a good amount of information about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely we got Janae back. So yeah, I was just getting ready to ask you the same question. In what way have your roles helped you expand your acting abilities?
I think it uh it helped expand mine uh a lot because I guess it gives us a different view because all roles are different.
Yeah.
So it gives us all different views of what acting is. So I guess it expanded mine very widely, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Absolutely. Um, is there anything okay, I think if I ask this, I want to apologize. So I know that, like I said, y'all didn't know much about it
Mhm.
before, but could either each of you just tell me one thing that you learned that was like startling, or a statistic about child trafficking that you were completely unaware of? I know you kind of you knew about it, but is there something like um, something that you learned about it that you had no idea, or just a new thing about it that you didn't know before?
I would say how the people who are taking the children
Yeah.
were are kind of like, I guess you could say, smart because they'll find what kids like and can lure them into things. So that's kind of scary, I guess, because you could think it's just some random. I mean, I know a nice person trying to give you something, and then it can lead to something else.
Yeah. What about you, Jaden? Did you learn do from what I understand that they may pose as children, they may like online as I'm talking about, or I've heard stories of read articles of people coming up to you, hey, are you a model? Are you an actor? Come fill this out. Like, were you surprised at the tactics that they use? And that sometimes the tactics or the things that they use seem legit. Does that scare you? Did you, I mean, when you found that out, that they try to legitimize a business that's really not a business, or posing as an agent, like that's really scary, right? Considering that you both are in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, yes, man. I learned a lot. So
Mhm.
the they account they just get internet. So much stuff from the internet. So like account be your I guess, and like just start asking you questions like, cause like they're smart, cause like they'll ask questions, you don't feel that you're giving away personal information. You just think, oh, this is a normal question. Yeah, kind of scared they do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I surely hope, that both of you are very proud of yourselves, for taking this role. By doing this and being a part of this mini series, you're shedding light on a very serious issue. And I just wanted to thank you also for taking time to speak with me today. And I'm looking forward to seeing Bright Lights, the mini series, everywhere. It needs to be in the schools, and hopefully that you can go to the schools and talk to your peers and bring awareness, continue to bring awareness to this very serious issue, and we can take it to the churches and beyond. So I just wanted to say thank you both for taking the time to interview with me today. And once again, thank you for taking on the seriousness of this role of your characters in Bright Lights.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Well, thank you so much again to the cast that has, taken the time to hang out with me today and with Lyft, with Ladies in Film and Television. Definitely some startling statistics and startling news about child trafficking, human trafficking. Not only is it a global issue, but this is something that we deal with heavily here in the state of Texas. I currently reside in Texas, and based on statistics, unfortunately, Texas is the #2 hub for human trafficking. And that is a very, very startling statistic. Once again, I mentioned that children make up 27% of human trafficking victims worldwide. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen a worsening overall trend in human trafficking, and that's definitely not good. I do believe we have other cast members in the building today. And if they are here, yes, Michaela and Marlene are both here with me this evening. Hi, Michaela, how are you?
Hi, Shana. How are you? I'm good.
Well, doing well. I'm here talking about the miniseries Bright Lights, some very heavy issue. And you play Detective Mosley in this miniseries. If you want to, dive right in and, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Detective Mosley and what you had to do to prepare for this role.
Yes, Detective Mosley. Of course, she, unfortunately, her daughter was kidnapped into sex trafficking 15 years ago. She unfortunately lost her daughter. And since then, she adopted 2 children from Haiti, Pierre and Zaire. And Zai. So she is actually in her character, she's made it her life mission to find sex traffickers. This is a mission for her because 1, she's a detective, but 2, she's lost her daughter to this very thing. And so while she's out here doing her day-to-day job, she also is still dealing with the grief and loss of her daughter, being a career woman, and also adopting 2 children as well. So in order to prepare for my character, I do have family and friends that are in law enforcement. So I did some research on that. And also to get into this character, I wanted to make sure I dressed for the role as well. And then music helps me too to get into the role. And then there's just understanding, I know about sex trafficking, but doing some more research on it and things of that. And then, like you said, that with Texas or with Dallas area, well, our area here, Texas, being the #2 hub for sex trafficking.
DFW. Thank you for that correction. So DFW area is the #2 hub for, unfortunately, for trafficking. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't for sure if it was DFW or just Texas, but I think you're right. It is the DFW area. Yeah. So and that's shocking actually. So yeah, I'm really taking this role very serious because when law enforcement have to work a case and their family has also been a victim of that, and it becomes very, very personal. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hi, Marlene. How are you this evening?
Right. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome. So we're just going to jump right in as well. If you want to tell us your character and the background of the character that you play in Bright Lights.
Well, in Bright Lights, I play a character called Miss Petrie, and she has like a double identity going. She's a person that loves children, but she does have a double identity going, and it's just amazing, especially with the trafficking that is in our state, how that how the whole idea of the play of the series is about trafficking, and it's so prevalent in our state. I'm just surprised that Texas, like someone else said, I'm surprised that Texas is so far up. It has so much trafficking. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
But Miss Petrie is, you can
Mhm.
definitely trust. Hmm.
I think same thing. It's a very startling statistic. So, interviewing you both, in the difference from the other cast previously, the cast are minors. You're looking at this from an adult perspective, and I just want to know what did you go back and talk to, I don't know if you have children that are still minors or grandchildren, like did you say or reach out to your kids who have kids, are you making sure so and so and so and so's social media is private, and they don't have their location on? What did it prompt you to do when you started digging and doing the research? Did you reach out to family members to make sure that their kids were safe?
Well, one thing that I did is we always do in our family is to make sure that they don't talk to strangers. And
Yes.
even if it's one that they know, then we still need them to, just check with us on everything. It is really important that way. Also, doing digging, my sister was used to work for the police department. So, a lot of different Irving Police Department. So, a lot of different things that go on, we would find out different things. So we try to educate our kids, and we also keep tabs on their social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real important. And if it's coming down to someone picking up someone from school, it's gonna be a family member. It's not gonna be a friend. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be family. So it's really important. You have to watch them a lot more closer than my parents had to watch me when I was growing up.
And that's unfortunate. And Michaela, may I ask you the same? So there's so many different tactics that these predators use. We go from going to the mall, the parks, and real social settings, but social media and public. What can we do, or what advice from playing the role of the detective? Do you have any advice that you want to give to parents out here that have children?
Sure. I would say, even with my own children, I would say be in your children's business. You periodically, that cell phone you pay for, it's their phone, yes, but it's really your phone. You're the parent, you're paying for it. They're in your home. You need to monitor their social media and know who their friends are. If they're saying, if you're allowing them to, well, I don't do the spend the night thing, but if you're allowing them to spend the night and go visit friends, you need to know who that family is, who's going to be in that household when your child is there. Also, even at school, like I said, knowing who their friends are, and finding out like their social media, uh, which social media outlets are they on? Are they on Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram? A lot of times parents are unaware. You're aware of that one page, but they have another page, and that's the page you don't know about. So it's finding out those things and being aware. People call it, your ear hustling. You need to kind of listen in on some of those conversations that they're having. They have, cue words and things like that that parents don't know about. So you hear all the time of how predators are reaching out to children via social media and coming at them on the things that they like, so far as even gaming devices and all of that. So I think it is, I just asked my daughter yesterday, do you think I'm too nosy? And she said yes. And I said, well, okay, good. So I think that's okay. You need to be, because where we as parents are finding out certain things, these predators are a step ahead. And so You need to learn about the web, social media. What does it mean? And, I think they should offer classes too for parents so that they will be prepared to know what to look for.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that. And we need to make that a hashtag, be in your children's business, because it can save their lives. And
Yes,
that
it
is
can.
so very true. Be intrusive, ask questions, have them unlock their phone, show them, the parents, their social media pages, and occasionally scroll through their friends list and see who's following them and who they are following, because this is very serious. So I heard you both mention where, your kids may be not allowed to go out or spend the night at other people's houses, but now these children are being preyed upon in social media, on social media. So they're not leaving the house, and when they are leaving the house, it could be to go to school or to church or whatever, but they're still at risk. And that is very, very scary. So yes, she made the hashtag, be in your children's business. And that is a message for everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And another thing about it is some of the people in your church, it could be pastors. A ring just got busted in Fort Worth. They were pastors. Some of the pastors were in there and everything. Is everywhere. That is really hard for me because I'm a minister, and it leaves you thinking, who can you trust? But even in church, be involved in their lives. Don't just leave them with someone you feel, okay, they're in church. The devil goes to church too. So you have to be right there in everything. It's not a free for all. It's not a can I go over someone's house? Who is that person? Who is their family? Where did they come from? You have to be. My mom always raised us with the adage, I'm your mother, I'm not your friend. So I don't care. And I feel the same way about my nieces, my nephews, and stuff. I love you. I want you to be able to talk to me. I want to make an atmosphere for that. But definitely, I don't care about you getting mad. I'm going to find out what I need to find out.
Yes. Thank you. Very, very true and very powerful statement. And reading the headlines, it is startling. So you just mentioned that they busted a ring at a church. I think I saw an article about Disney, the amusement park. I'm like, oh my God, they can't go to church. They can't go to school. They can't go to Disney. I mean, it's not about that they can't go. It's that us as parents, we have to do our due diligence and accompany them. Well, no, we can't go to school with them, but accompany them on anything that may be considered as extracurricular.
Right.
I agree.
Agreed.
And Michael, do you have any parting thoughts or any parting statements that you would like to share with us before we conclude? I want to say, I want to thank you for both of you for playing and portraying such a serious role that brings attention to a very serious subject matter. And I know that it may have been difficult on both ends, what you had to do to prepare psychologically. So thank you.
Yeah. I would definitely say to be, as a parent, be your own detective for your children, to advocate for them. And like they were saying earlier, yeah, you get upset and say, well, I can't do this or you can't do this. But you know what? You have to be, it's okay. You go off of what you feel is right for you and for your family and for your children. Because it could be that one time that you let your guard down. And that's something that, and I really believe in Detective Mosley's case, that was a situation. So I would say continue to be that detective, no matter where you go. Like Marlene was saying, in church, it doesn't matter, in school, even with family, especially if your children tell you there's a relative they don't feel comfortable about, don't ignore that. Investigate and find out,
Yeah. Yes. Well, once again, I do want to thank you, and I'm hoping to see Bright Lights, the mini series, everywhere. I want to see it in churches. I want to see it in schools.
Yes.
I want this to be shared globally. And thank you so much again for your time and your dedication to this project, bringing awareness to this very serious issue, human trafficking, but in specifically child trafficking. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you so much too, Shane. Thank you.
You're
One
welcome.
thing before we leave, I'd like to say that we really need to start talking about this in our communities, so that people in your community that care can spot things that seem funny, and they can know things. They need to be educated as well, because when a person knows that you can't come in this community and do certain things, a trafficker needs to know that. So we need to be really talking about this stuff. I'm glad this is coming to the forefront so that the community can know what's going on, what a trafficker looks like, some of the things that they do, so that they can be aware and maybe help save a child's life.
Absolutely. And Marlene, you brought up a good point that I feel like our society has moved away from. It still takes a village to raise our children. And it feels that we've moved away from that and that proverb. And we need to get back to that so that we can continue to protect and advocate for them as well. I agree. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Marlene and to Michaela for joining me today. And before we close out, we're going to bring on the writer and the director of Bright Lights. We have Jeanette Greenwood, who will be joining me momentarily. I have a few questions for her as well, if we have time. I'm not sure if we do. Oh, I do have time. Well, hello, Jeanette.
Hi. Hey, and I got actually two more guests coming on with me. I have Dr. Katrina and Freddie. So let's get into
Well, we have Dr. Katrina, who is also a cast member of Bright Lights. We have our DP, Freddie Watkins, in the building. So this has been a heavy day of interviews. We've been talking about a very, very serious topic. Unfortunately, it's a global issue. And Dr. Katrina, you also are a cast member in Bright Lights, and you play Detective Devereaux. Is that right?
Lieutenant.
Yes, Lieutenant Devereaux. Thank you, Jeanette.
Yes, I do. I play Lieutenant Devereaux, which in my earlier days, in my earlier career, I actually used to investigate human trafficking. So any crimes against children, I used to do those cases. And so I think when I got the phone call, Jeanette, of course, always updates me on everything that she's doing. And so we started talking about it. I was like, girl, this is what I do. And so I don't know. I ended up in here playing this character.
It's something that hits really close to home, as you looked for missing and exploited children. As I was preparing for these interviews, I read some very, very startling statistics here. How do we help? What do we do? How do we bring awareness to this issue?
We have to be more involved. A lot of times it's like we're in people's business, but we're not in their business. We choose what we want to be involved in, like we'll gossip and talk about it, but it's no solutions. Or we're so quick to be judgmental. Like when we see kids, oh, they're fast, oh, they're this, they're hanging here, they hanging there, they're doing this. We always see the negativity instead of taking that extra step to see what's really going on. And even as parents, our kids are locked up in the room. We have no locked doors over here. If you lock your doors, guess what? I'm going to take the lock off. And then if that does not work, you still want to close doors, I will take the hinges off. So I do not have privacy in my house. I track the phone, I track the computer. Even when you think you're smarter than me and you're trying to look at these other apps, my son will tell you, I will say in a minute, do you know who your mother is? Yes, I do. because he already know between having a father that has a technology background and a mother who is like the ultimate investigator / therapist, everything all up in your business. Yes, we're going to find out what's going on, because a lot of times we think, oh, my child is at home, they don't ask to go anywhere, but are you monitoring what they're doing in their room? You know, are you monitoring who they're talking to? What are they talking about? Oh, they just playing video games. That's where predators are. That's where predators are. You know, I've seen so many cases of, you know, you just wouldn't believe. It could be the person next door. It could be a family member. You know, a lot of stuff happened in church. I know one of my experiences I had personally happened to me in church in the daytime, in the middle of, like, people were in the building. So people are bold, and we have to make sure that we are keeping a close eye on our children. If our children do not want to hug someone or talk to someone, do not make them. You know, I know growing up, it's like, oh, it's disrespectful if you don't speak, if you don't do this. No, do not force them to do anything, because then you start making them think that when bad things are happening to them, that it's okay, or, oh, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do what this adult says to do.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Katrina. Jeanette, this is a very heavy global concern, but necessary to discuss. Why did you decide to make a mini series about child trafficking?
Well, you know, this is the end of I actually go on vacation next month. So this was our recital, and I had to write something. And I actually saw on the news where the trafficking in my city, Fort Worth, 100 and some odd people were caught. And you know, you see this all over the news, all over the world. I live in Fort Worth, and to see 100, we're not talking about 2 or 3 people got caught. 100, and I think I'm guessing a 13 or 19, somewhere in that figure, of people that were caught doing this in my community. So that number blew me away. And so I decided to go ahead and write about trafficking, to write about that. And it's a topic it's really, and the pandemic they said it's even gotten worse with the pandemic. So it's not going away. It's not going away.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I want to touch on something too, Jeanette. You've written and directed another series, Sea Blues, that highlighted the seriousness of COVID. That series also touched on racial injustices and vaccine awareness and education. So there's an underlying theme. You bring awareness to some very, very serious topics. And are you an activist first, or a writer or director? Because you bring everything that is relevant and that is serious to the forefront.
That's a good question. I've never been asked that, and to be honest, I never thought about that. Maybe I am an activist, because I want to talk. I feel like God has given me the gift to write, and I know it's a gift. And the reason why, and I'm not bragging, the reason why I know it's a gift, because I can sit right here with you, and you can give me a topic, and I can write you a script while we're talking that quick. So I know it's a gift. And so I feel like, because this gift was given to me, I need to use it wisely. I need to take care of it. And because, first of all, I'm honoring God first. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of my plays, we have some cuss word and a little something going on. But I'm still going to honor God in it, because we're human. And when I write about something, I want to write the truth. I don't want to sugarcoat it. To each his own, you know. I've had people say, I thought you was a Christian. They had some cussing in that. I say, I'm a Christian, and if you say something to me, you might hear that in real life. Pray for me. But, you know, we got to be real. So I do write about real things, and things that are going to move people, things that are going to help people. And I just want to see awareness brought to this subject. It's big. And we need to, our kids, and let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
When I wrote the script, I wrote it in my mind thinking, and this is a true story, that the kids knew what trafficking was. I didn't have a discussion about it. I wrote the script, gave them the script, they did it. Okay, did a great job. So after we, we shut down everything, and I said, well, we're gonna have a discussion. We wrapped. So we talked about it, and I told them what trafficking was, but I didn't think I was telling them anything. I thought they knew it, and so they didn't know it. They didn't know what it was. And after I did it, and one of them said they got sad because the role that they play, they did a great job playing it. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, y'all did a great job playing these roles, and y'all didn't even know what this was. They didn't even know. So that made me say, okay, God, you orchestrated this, because these are my kids that I've been teaching for a whole year, and they did not know what trafficking was. So we need this in our lives.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to thank you for once again bringing this issue to our awareness. And Freddie, so you are the DP and editor for Bright Lights. What was it like working on this project, and where are we in the process as far as the series or the editing?
Well, everything, every time Jeanette writes something, it's always, and why I'm so anxious to jump on it, because it's always something, it's not just entertainment, it's always something that's going to benefit somebody in real life. So I'm always anxious to jump on it and try to bring what she wrote to visual, so people can see it and make it more impactful in that way. So whatever I can do to get her story out, I'm always glad. It's always written, and it's pressure to me to make it what it is. So I love that. So, but it's always a message in what she writes. So I'm always anxious to jump on it and see what I can do with it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what I was saying, before. Always bringing awareness to the global issues that we face. Jeanette, so can you tell us a little bit more? So I know that it's a mini series. Will this be in the theaters? Will this be premiered?
Dr. Katrina, can we talk about that tonight?
We can give them a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Yes.
I just can't hold no secrets.
A little bit.
Okay, well, actually in January it will premiere. We will be at the Angelica Theater in Dallas. Actually, we have some big things going around this film. Ladies in Film and Television is the executive producer of this film. So yay for that. We're excited about that. And they are not playing. They have some major stuff. This film has taken a big, let me just say, a big leap. And we have some major people that will be coming out in January. And we actually got 2 of our cast members that are not from the DFW. They're going to be flying in, which Kalissa lives in Atlanta, Georgia. So Kalissa will be flying in with her family. And then we have Trinity, which is way up Washington area. That's going to be flying in with her family. So they came to me virtually, and during the pandemic, when I lost my clients and business and everything, and I get a chance to see them face to face in January. Yep. So I'm excited about that as well. So yeah, we got some great things coming for this, and we will be sending out more information within the next week or two for people to come out and support this project. It is a mini series, as we mentioned. This is just a pilot. So I will be casting to do the full series, because this is just one episode. And so to do the full series in 2022, so we will be casting to finish it out, and so we'll do the whole series. So we only showing the first episode, which that episode is enough to say, ooh, Oh, so yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I just want to thank you all for taking the time out to interview with me today. And once again, I want to thank you all for bringing awareness to such a serious, serious global issue. And I hope that you all have a good night. Bright Lights. The mini-series will be premiering in January of 2022. I'm Shayna Stone with Ladies in Film and Television. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shayna. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, Shayna, sorry. I have one more thing.
Okay.
What?
I forgot. Hold on, y'all. We did have a clip. I think.
Okay.
Yes, we did. Okay, we're going to show y'all the clip. We're going to close out with the clip. How about that?
We're going to close out with a clip from Bright Lights. I'm Shayna Stone with Ladies in Film and Television. Thanks for watching.
Thank y'all. So hold on, guys. Y'all bear with us.
And Shayna, she's an activist, I believe, first.
I agree.
Yeah,
Thank you for answering the question, Freddie. She definitely is.
Look, she is.
Oh, I guess so, y'all. Well, I hope
so, Jeanette, where can they look for information to purchase tickets to this red carpet premiere?
Oh, see, you gave them more than I gave. Well, see, she's
just give them a little bit so they can be ready.
They will be able to actually purchase tickets from our website, both jgstudioscompany.com, and they'll be able to purchase as well from Ladies in Film and Television. Actually, it's ladiesinfilm.com. So once we bring the tickets up, then you'll be able to purchase. Is it anything else you wanted to say about that, Trina, that I left off?
I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay. Right now, yeah, you know I do teasers, so we'll have more information coming soon.
Okay, all right. So y'all, give me a second. I'm sorry, I thought I had this loaded and it wasn't. So let me load it. My bad. I'm gonna load it now. Y'all gonna get it now. So we want y'all definitely to log on. And go what you call it, become a member of our site, or go to Ladies in Film page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Ladies in Film and Television. And if you follow us, then you'll be able to get our updates as soon as they hit. The seating is going to be very limited to this. We are going to have guests, we're going to have panelists that's going to come in that are going to be speaking about this. So y'all do not want to miss this opportunity to just do something positive and be part of something great. So this is going to be something that you don't want to miss as we open up our 2022 year with Bright Lights. So I'm really excited about that. And for any of you out here that are interested in auditioning, then you definitely want to come and see the first episode, because when we have the casting call, I'm going to ask you, did you come see the first episode? Because then, therefore, you're going to be already ready and you're going to know what's happening. That's a tip for you. Come see it so you can talk to me. So here we go, y'all. I'm going to show you the episode. And after this, y'all won't see us no more. We will be gone. Thank y'all so much. And thank you again, Shayna Stone. Great job. Great job. Great job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Zai, P, Lori, kids. Oh my God. Where are they?
Oh my God. Guys, why did the lights go out?
I'm scared. Why is it dark?
I knew I shouldn't have come. Miss Petrie.